Station Business Incubator, and it is ran by the director of the incubator, Alicia Moran. Come on, Alicia, and tell them a little bit about ISBI.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. So for those who haven't been here before, this is our, as Kim has said, our Accelerator, International Soft Landing, and Incubation Program. We have 15 offices down the hall. We have co-working space and virtual memberships here. We're here to support our business community. It supports our economic development mission of creating jobs, sustaining jobs, and expanding job opportunities. So we have everything from space tech to AI to cloud seeding to a whole host of innovative technologies here, as well as others that are government contractors that also have proprietary service or product offerings. So thank you all for being here. I know you're here to hear other people, not me, so I'll just say I'm here all day, and if you need to talk to me, I'm here to support you. Thanks.
Thank you, Alicia. And just to let you guys know about the EDC, we at the EDC help small businesses start, thrive, and grow. We primarily help you locate office space in the county by helping you with commercial real estate, as well as helping you through the permitting process. We also have lots of programs for small businesses, so please go onto our website at pgcedc.com and go under our calendar of events, and you will see all of the events that the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation offers. In addition to helping you start, thrive, and grow your business, we have numerous business development managers like myself in different industries. We have business development manager for warehousing, that's John Mason in the back. We have our business development manager for our Hispanic business population, Rocio. That's Rocio there. And do we have any other meetings here? We have retail and restaurant. We have also technology, as well as healthcare. They'll probably be up a little later in the program. So let me tell you guys a little bit about Procurement 360. I am the business development manager for the government sector, and we all know the challenges that the government is going through. And so what happened in about March, when I realized a lot of my contractors were calling me saying they were losing contracts, they were closing down agencies, I said, well, we have got to do something to fulfill that pipeline that they're losing. So I said, why not do an event that we bring all of the state, county, quasi-government, and private industry procurement offices together and offer all of the products that they have available. We also had DOD there as well. So we did this at the hotel back in March. We had about 24 different agencies attend. And because we had breakout sessions, so some people may have been going to the University of Maryland Hospital procurement orientation, but they also wanted to see Prince George's County Office of Procurement. So they couldn't see two at the same time. So we said, let's break it down by industry and targeted segments, and let's do it so that you get an opportunity to visit all of the segments of procurement. So really, what I do here is help you as contractors identify procurement opportunities, grow your business, develop your portfolio, and expand your portfolio. So we are working on some great initiatives moving ahead. We're working on a procurement forum where we're going to come together and partner together as procurement businesses, as contractors, and talk about some of the challenges that you're facing. We're going to have people there to address some of those challenges and talk about how we can help you expand forward. But right now is the time to celebrate, because I brought people here to help you expand your business today. But before we go further in our program, I have someone special I want to introduce you to. And this is the new president. I can't go forward without introducing my marketing team first. Our marketing team consists of Rep Butler, he's the marketing manager. We have Justin, who's our photographer. We have Jeremy on our graphics. We have Faven, my wonderful project manager, couldn't do it without her. And we have Lanice on our reception desk. And Lanice wants me to tell you guys to make sure you drop off your name tags when you finish. And now I want to introduce you to a very special person new to Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, our wonderful new president, Ingrid Watson. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Kim. Please give Kim a round of applause. She's such a hard worker. I just appreciate her. Dedicated to businesses as everyone else is that is here. Good morning. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming. Ingrid Watson. I'm very proud to be the new president and CEO for the Economic Development Corporation here in Prince George's County, where we grow businesses and provide you the opportunity to expand and thrive. So I wanted just to share a little bit about me. I was previously on the Prince George's County Council, serving District 4. I was very proud to be in that role. And in that role, I did assist a lot of businesses with economic development and growth and helping them get started and stay in Prince George's County. So a lot of businesses have been struggling, especially in the last year and a half. But I wanted to help them know that it's an opportunity and that we are here at Prince George's to stick together and help each other to grow. And I hope we all do that today and build those partnerships. Also, I'm not very new to the EDC. I actually was employed here a few years ago under the Workforce Development Department and worked with Walter Simmons to build Employ Prince George's. So we assisted residents in career pathways and garnering employment here in Prince George's County. So I'm very proud of that background and certainly look forward to continuing to do that here in the EDC, as well as helping our businesses thrive and grow. I also worked for Children's Hospital in healthcare, the healthcare industry. So I'm very proud of that background as well. And just something about me that a lot of people don't know is I grew up in New York. I was raised in New York, but I'm a North Carolinian by birth. And in North Carolina, we love barbecue. And my family owned a barbecue business since the early 1900s. My great-grandfather started it in his backyard because blacks couldn't own businesses, so we started it, and he started it in his home. And he had a dream about a sauce, a hot sauce. And the hot sauce is still in business today. And we still manufacture that, and it's actually sold in Harris Teeter. But I'm very proud of that because I learned a great work ethic there. My grandparents taught me how to build a business, work a business, and do every facet of that business. I even learned how to chop meat. So that was interesting, but it was a lot of fun. I washed dishes, I did everything. Because it's all about growth, opportunity, and they built that brick and mortar business for their family because they wanted to build generational wealth. It's all about that in the Black community and all communities. But I'm very proud of that. So I hope you all are very proud of what you're doing. And before I say anything else, I definitely want to hear from you. So if you could just give me a 30-second elevator speech, I would love to hear about your businesses, what you're doing here in Prince George's County, and certainly how we can provide opportunities to help you all grow. So we'll start right here.
Sure. Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Felicia Lyons. I'm the owner of the Junk Luggers of Capital Beltway. I operate a franchise business, it's an eco-friendly junk removal business, providing services to all residential and commercial businesses. This would be our first time hearing about government opportunities because we are primarily focused on our residential community. But we do anything from hauling out appliances to doing light demolition and large department stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. So,
Wonderful, thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Banks, Senior Vice President of CBR Development. We're a real estate development firm that specializes in personal services for clients. So we offer professional services in project management, construction management, architectural design, services.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon.
evaluation, with business management consulting firms, procurement, acquisitions, and we have all, very happy people.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am Tina Faber. I actually work for M&T Bank. I'm here with the team this morning, relationship manager, so we help you all with business services, lending, cash management services, and help you either start, grow, or expand your business.
Thank you, and you're gonna hear from them soon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Patasha Ford. I'm the founder and CEO of Ford Management Services. We do project construction and facilities management support. We specialize in managing office and support space renovations, but that can translate to retail, restaurant, warehouse. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Whitney Jacobs. I'm the Program Delivery Manager at Blue Sky Innovative Solutions. We do end-to-end business solutions, IT, management consulting, and temporary staffing, and we've been working with the county for about 10 years. So.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Danielle Rozier. I'm a full-service catering events company, and we do government contracting and, work with the government. We do corporate catering as well as social and all of them. So they're one-stop.
Wonderful, thank you, thanks for being here.
Hi, my name is Bernice Stannis. I'm with EDC Tours and Travel, the CEO and president of EDC Tours. I do international as well as domestic travel. I've worked with EDC in the past, sending delegates to Korea, Africa. So I look forward to next topic. As much as the snow is on the ground, I can take you to sunshine anytime.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Tanya Robertson, founder of Focus Training Solutions. We're here in the county, 8 years old. Our specialty is employee onboarding. We help growing companies evaluate, assess, and redesign their employee onboarding program so they can keep the people they work hard to hire.
Love that.
That's awesome.
Hi, my name is Amy Aldamina. I worked in healthcare for 25 years, but for Kaiser for 50 years, and I decided to open my own mobile lab. So I do DNA testing, duty and non-duty testing, background check, gender reveal, and I'm located in Rockville and
Lovely, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandy Martin. My company is International. We are staffing and workforce management solutions company. We work across a variety of industries. We've been a federal government contractor since 2012 as a prime contractor, supporting the DoD on a basis in the US and in the UK. We staff across IT, healthcare, food services, typical admin, clerical, and also event management.
Thank you so much.
My name is Keith. I'm the director and owner of two companies. Thrive with that company is based in Kenya, and we are expecting to get the register. Another company called the Group of Travel. We specialize in travel and tours. We organize transport, and we also do like planning of logistics. And so we do plan logistics, and also we help on the visa processing whenever people are going out.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Evan. I'm the CEO of Leaves Technology. We have several, now I say several, we got 4 government contracts already tested. We're still working to try to seek more work. But unfortunately, as we are at this time into the end, we're proceeding today. We're still working in the government. Stay there.
Thank you, hope to keep you there for sure. We would love to do that.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Nina Tucker. I'm the co-founder of the Marketing Institute with my sister. We are social contributors and we love to see us grow. That's what we do president. I'm not just a natural Facebook and social media platforms.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen David Zane. I'm First Construct, construction management company. We specialize in small to mid-sized
the other half of this illustrious mother-daughter team?
She's not proud to do it. My name is Dawn Tucker, president of Board Tucker Management Consultants, and we develop people with local organizations. We have worked here in Prince George's County with Kimberly, and you are awesome folks. I live in Southern Maryland, we have many partners in Prince George's. We provide management advisory services across the federal, state, local, and corporate spaces.
Wonderful. Did we get everyone?
Pick in the middle.
Oh,
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anita Bancora. I am the CEO and founder of Richfield Human Services, which is specialized in residential and commercial cleaning. And we also deliver high quality cleaning services for the community area.
thank you.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Logan. I'm the president of Logan Program LLC, providing audit, financial management, as well as internal control department of
Wow. We have an awesome group of businesses, M&T, don't you agree? All right, so now we know who we have in the room. Let's give everyone a round of applause. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for being here. So it's all about connections. So I hope you all listen to each other and you will connect with each other today to help build each other up. It's all about community. And we are here to help your communities thrive. So I'm excited today because on our program, we have M&T Bank, Mannequin, Maryland Department of General Services, Prince George's County Office of Procurement, and the Maryland Department of Social and Economic Mobility. So we welcome you all. Thank you for being here. I'm here for you if you have any questions for me later on. But I appreciate you all, and let's look forward to this wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Watson. So our first presenter is from M&T Bank. I would first like Pam to introduce herself as well as her team, but they have been such an integral part to the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. They help us with programming for small businesses. They have a whole GovCon division where they really help funding for the government contractors. So I will let them speak more. I think we will have Sean Turner presenting, so take it away, M&T.
Thank you, Kimberly. Good morning, everyone. So I am Pam Scott. I am a senior relationship manager at M&T Bank, and I have my peer here, Sean Turner, who will be presenting. And also we have Ms. Fashima Green. She's here to help and support you all. We look forward to working with you today. We would like to meet each and every one of you and just sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation, and we're here to support.
Thank you, Pam. Next. So the moment that everyone's been waiting for, I know this is the reason why you came out, banking. So I am part of the GovCon team over at M&T Bank. A lot of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today is specific to government contracting, but they can also be utilized for any business in which you're working with. So happy to go through a few things, and I'm going to try to make it as fast and precise as possible. If there's any questions while I'm talking, please feel free to interrupt me. I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have. The first of which being, who am I? So my name is Sean Turner. I grew up in Baltimore. I went to Salisbury University for undergrad. I went to Morgan State for my MBA. I've been with the bank since 2017, currently senior relationship manager, a part of AFCIA, 4-Beat Alliance, which are government contracting centric organizations. And then I sit on the board at CCBC within Baltimore. So as a part of the GovCon team, we focus on a few areas: building connections, facilitating introductions, sharing market intel, being a trusted advisor, and providing capital solutions for growing companies. The 5 C's of credit. If none of you have ever heard this before, if you're at a bank, leave. So, the 5 C's of credit. First of which being capital. How much capital does the company have that they're willing to invest within themselves? This is what the bank is looking for when we're looking for companies in which to provide lending to. Collateral. Is there, in the absence of capital, is there collateral that can be potentially facilitated for a potential loan? Conditions. The market. What does the market look like? How are things transitioning within the space? Local, throughout the entire United States, etc. Character, credit score, business, credit, all of those things come into play when it's time to talk about your personal character. And if you have a facilities clearance, that can also be a conversation to be had around character as well. And then capacity is probably the most important. If you're looking to secure debt, do you have the ability to make payment? So there's a few documentations that all banks are going to be looking for when it's time for potential lending opportunities. First of which being income statement, balance sheet, AR aging, AP aging, contract backlog specifically for my government contractors, personal financial statements, and projections if you're a startup company. For existing companies, typically we're looking for 3 years of financials to analyze. If you're within the first 2 years, we typically not only utilize the years that you actually have financials for, but also any projections that you're able to provide. And if you're a contractor, you're able to show the trajectory of the company based on a recent contract award or things of that nature. We also take that into consideration. So I'm not going to go over numbers here specifically. I'm going to talk about more so what we look for when we see certain documentation and certain trends, right? So on the income statement, first thing I look for, revenue. Simple enough. Next thing I look for is net income. Now, depending on the industry, I would like to see a certain percentage as the net income, certain margin, right? So in this example, it's $100,000 is the total revenue, and the net income is $8,000. 8% margins. In most industries, 8% is pretty solid. Now, if for some reason that number was higher or lower, that would trigger a conversation for a banker to have with you around the things in which you're doing in order to either increase that profit margin or why it might be a little bit lower. Maybe you're going after a contract, et cetera, that costs the company a few dollars from the profit margin, which may make sense. Next thing I want to talk about is business cash flow. So this is probably the most important thing when it comes to lending. Does your company have the ability to repay debt? We look at this by looking at your net income. We add back interest, depreciation, amortization. We deduct out taxes. This slide is wrong. It is adding back in taxes. We deduct out taxes. And then we divide that by whatever your payment would be for a loan to get the debt service coverage ratio, which in most cases is either 1.2 or 1.25, depending on which bank you go to. Any questions so far? Am I boring you?
Well, just FYI, most of them, I think, are kind of established contractors. So, just FYI.
Balance sheet. First thing banks look at, cash. Second thing we look at is equity. If for some reason that either one of those items are, say, relatively low for request or something like that, there's going to trigger a conversation from any bank. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty, but all right, so financial ratios. Current ratio. So current assets over current liabilities, we want to see those current assets to current liabilities at least be 1 to 1. So you can support your current liabilities Simple enough. Debt to equity ratio. So that's total liabilities over owner's equity. That number should be typically preferred around 2, so 2x. Not going to go into this too much. Let's go to the next one. So debt to income ratio. So we think about this more so on the side of, say, commercial mortgages, residential mortgages, things of that nature. Typically, banks don't want to see a debt to income ratio higher than 36%. Loan to value, so every bank has a different loan to value depending on what you're doing. Specifically, this is for tangible assets, so think you're buying a tractor or some type of rig, or you're buying a commercial property. There's going to be different loans to value depending on the type of asset actually being purchased. So this is probably the most important thing that we look at throughout in the government contracting space is a contract backlog. Every single column on this contract backlog is important to us for one reason or another. So this is unique to us. If you all need it, we can share it out. It's fine. So who's the customer? The project name, so we can track it. Are you a prime or are you a subcontractor? What type of contract, so how are you getting paid? Is this a set-aside contract or is it competitive? Start date, end date, the contract value specific to your company, the funded value, and then the revenue recognized on the contract. So these two columns automatically calculate. It's pretty simple. Now, the reason why these things are important is because some customers are more likely to pay than others. So, for instance, we'll say, let's just use Google is more likely to pay you than John down the street. So, depending on the actual customer, we'll utilize that as a value to determine how likely it is for you to receive payment. We're going to go to the prime contractor. So rather you're a prime or a sub, the reliability that you're going to be paid from from the government is more likely than you being paid from another government contractor. Now it might be marginal, but we look at work directly with the government as primary, work with a large prime as secondary, and work with another prime or subcontract or contractor as tertiary. How you get paid is going to be beneficial for us to understand because it affects timing. So if you're looking, for instance, for a line of credit at the company to support your short-term working capital needs, and let's just say you're on net 60 terms. Well, that drastically impacts the amount of funds that you would need because of those terms. If you're on fixed firm price based on some portion of completion, well then you may only get paid, say, monthly, quarterly, not necessarily short. We will have to understand that better so that when we are providing capital as a bank, we understand what the outlay is for you so that we don't put you in a bad situation when it comes to supporting the company for the time period in which you need it. Set aside work. So for instance, 8A. We know 8A is 9 years unless you went through COVID, it was 10. So typically we tell our customers, come 5-6 years, we want to see companies transitioning from 8A contracts to be more competitive, because the last thing we want to do is year 8, you're focused on trying to get away from 8A contracts, but you haven't focused on competitive contracts previously. So we like to see our company start to transition somewhere between year 4 and year 6 to more competitive work. Maybe they're at 50-50. And then by the time year 8, year 9 comes, you're at 75, 25, 80, 20, something like that. Any questions here? I usually get questions. Yeah.
So when it comes to the contract backlog, is this for the purpose of lending to the business or
Good question.
standard business?
Good question. I didn't answer that. So the reason that we collect this is because not only are we looking at the financials that were presented for past performance, but we also want to see how the company's going to perform in the future. So for instance, if you had a $10 million contract, which was 50% of your work over the past 5 years, but that contract is about to mature, that's going to be a significant impact on you as a company, and we need to be able to understand not only your needs for right now, but your needs for in the future. So there's also a pending section though. So let's just say, for instance, that contract's coming off, but there's a new contract coming out to support a similar need, and you think you have a 20% chance of win, 25, 50% chance of win. Well, then we go to our underwriter, we say, hey, this contract ends in the next 12 months. But there's a new contract that starts in the next 9 months. There's a connection with the prime contractor on this contract, and there's a high likelihood that our customer is actually going to be able to replace the revenue loss with the revenue on the pending section. And you wouldn't do this, but I typically highlight contracts, so let's just say it's also a follow-on, so a contract is continuing. So I'll most likely highlight them the same color so that the underwriter can see. I want underwriters to have as least questions as possible. If they come back to me with 1 or 2 questions, oh, so I try to provide as much detail up front as possible. And I think that's the focus for all of us, and more facility. Sorry, was there any other questions on the contract backlog before I move forward? So term loan versus line of credit. A lot of the folks in the space are, specifically in the government contracting space, are likely going to be looking for a line of credit to support short-term working capital needs. But there are times in which you may need a term loan as well. So if you're looking at long-term working capital, if you're making a purchase of an asset, or if you're expanding, acquisition, mergers and acquisition, et cetera. The difference between the term loans, so term loans, there's likely an LTV, so loan to value associated, and you can have a loan fixed, so with a fixed rate or floating rate. With a line of credit, it's always going to be a floating interest rate, and that's more so for short-term working capital. Any questions on the difference between the two?
But could you tie that to the contract backlog? So,
Yep.
how does that affect the
Perfect.
term loan versus the?
Yep. So the contract backlog will give us an idea of where the company's going. So if you win a contract, there may be, so we like to be proactive. So if you win a contract based on contract award, we're going to put a line of credit in place to facilitate the growth of the company. So that's typically where like line of credit, contract backlog, how that coincides. But if you also win a contract, then there's going to be an expansion of the company. So either you need to purchase, because you won this contract, you need to purchase an asset, or there's something else that may come up, then that may trigger the thought process for a term loan. We would need a contract backlog mostly to show that you're gonna be able to continue to perform either at or higher than the level that you already were at. Because most contracts, depending on the space, it's either 3, 5 years. So how is the company gonna look after that time period? So we are SBA lender for any any company that's a startup, or if there is significant growth. So always put SBA programs and resources, things to consider when it comes to that. Additional resources, as some of them are on this sheet here. Also, don't be afraid to use trusted advisors, so bankers, CPAs, attorneys, insurance providers, etc. Any questions? There has to be the AR agent? Okay, AR or AD? Yep. So the AR agent report also ties into if you're looking for a line of credit as well to support the short-term working capital needs of the company. So it coincides with the contract backlog, et cetera. So if let's just say you want a line of credit to support the work that you currently have. If you want a $1.5 million line of credit, but your company only shows accounts receivable of say $800,000, it's less likely that we would be able to provide you with the higher line of credit unless there's a contract that supports that. So for instance, if you came to us and you said you needed 1.5 million and you have 1.6 in accounts receivable, well, you're showing the need for a line of credit. Accounts payable, that tells us that you're also a prime, which we love to see as well. Anything I've missed, Pam? I think I'm good.
Thank you, M&T. Did you guys find that helpful? At least when we're looking at getting some money or some loans for our contracts, we want to know what is required of us. So we always wanted to make sure that we have a funding partner here for you guys so that you have access to capital when you're looking to do your contracting. So next on our agenda is John Graham from Mannequin. Let's give him a round of applause. Let him feel welcome.
I got it. No, I got it. Hopefully that happens.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is John Graham. I'm one of the partners at Mannequin. We're a regional development company headquartered in Columbia. We've been around since 1946. We currently are developing 3 million square feet of industrial property in Prince George's County. The project is about $1 billion project. Let's see. Oh, go down. That was those questions were for the last person. Okay. Look, I got everything right. Our very simple procurement criteria. We look at cost. We're institutionally capitalized, which just means that we have a series of institutional capital funds. Some of them are US based, some of them are not. So everything goes into a budget. However, I'm on the operations side, I'm one of the local people, so the other thing we look at is experience, reputation, and also competence, like if you actually done this before. And also local jurisdictional expertise, which is a big factor. Every county and city in the state of Maryland operates differently with different rules. If you do not have experience in the jurisdiction that we're hiring for, that can be a problem. We try to hire as many local companies and people as we possibly can every time we do a project. We're developing 500,000 square feet in Hampton, Virginia right now. And I'd say half of the people that are working for us on that project are local to that market. And same for this 3 million square feet. And then we also have a couple other new development properties in the pipeline for this county, Prince George's County as well. I'm kind of rush through this one. It's indirect, which is probably more relevant to the group that's here, because a lot of this stuff is sort of very large companies. General contracting, we use national and regional general contractors. Equity capital and debt, I mean, we go out nationally to institutional capital and debt. We use local legal counsel. Local land use attorneys, transaction attorneys. We probably have half a dozen attorneys on this project that we have here locally. They do all sorts of different stuff. Local brokerage, we've used NIA Michael as one of the companies. If you're familiar with them, they're kind of Prince George's County based brokerage company. We're not using a local architect. The architect came with our design build company, general contractor, which is a national company. We are using local engineering, so we use, actually this project's so big, we're using all 4 of the local civil engineers on the project. Millions of dollars of civil engineering work. When I see the bills, it's actually quite frightening. We have hired 2 community consultants. Before we started, we did 23 Zoom calls with local communities, churches, just explaining what we were gonna do. And a significant part of what we could do is community-based. So we're putting in like a 25-acre rec park for the county. We're expanding roads and putting in lights and saving a couple endangered species. If you're endangered species people, I can tell you about this guppy that we're saving. It's about this big. Third-party reviewers. We've hired local reviewers that just go into help us with the documents that we're submitting to the county for approval. We have 3 million square feet of solar going on the roofs of these buildings. It's going directly back into the grid for the local community. Endangered species, property management, marketing. We hire local website people for our marketing. And these are kind of the wild things you get into. Tribes of the Delaware, if they ever camp there, we have to do like a submission to them. We have archaeological digs that we do. If any of that is your expertise, we've hired people for that. Let's see. There we go. So this is more the subcontractor list. Maybe some of you are more in this direction. So the way this works is I personally don't hire anybody on this list directly. However, with the general contractors and the other people, I can actually call them up and say, hey, I would like you to give this painting company some of the work. And since we pay them millions of dollars, they'll just go, okay, sure. I mean, it's that easy. Like, I wish I was more complicated. There was some process. Please don't send me any, applications or anything. So when you talk to me later, like, it's that easy. You just say, hey, I'd like a shot at this, and I just make 2 phone calls, and that's kind of how it works. I'd like to say I don't work for the government, so I don't have to go through any kind of there's no bureaucracy to it. It's just like, okay, I got 5 minutes, I'm calling this guy, hey, and our general contractor, Dan Sharp, is affiliated with us. I say, hey, Danny, can you just, take a look at these guys and give them a shot?
So you don't need any past performance or anything?
Well, I'll say, have you done work in the county? And then it's like yes or no. And it's like, how long you been in business? This job is this size, do you think you can handle it? Like, that's kind of my conversation. And then I'll basically call up somebody who is probably the general contractor side of the world and say, I just talked to these people, they're gonna call you. This is what they told me, and then it's an interview with them. That's how it works. But again, it won't be that formal with them either, right? So I wish it was more difficult. I'm sorry.
We know.
But so yeah, this is probably just a partial list too. I mean, we hired for all these things for this current project. Kind of the best was we had to clear 200 acres of trees and then replant. Yes.
I don't see food there, anything to eat.
What's that, food?
Yeah, that's me. Put me in there.
Yeah, I don't really get involved in the food. I mean, on this project, it was multiple. We had 200 people working on the project at one point, and it was a lot of Hispanic food trucks. But I had no.
You allow food trucks on your site?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they would get in touch with you if they want to bring their food?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now, whether they'll actually buy your food, I can't really guarantee that. I actually asked, like, I mean, all these tacos, like, I was like, how many burrito food trucks have we got on one side? Like different subcontractors were like different food trucks.
Guatemala.
Yeah, they kind of came with their own food trucks. We weren't paying for that, they were just buying it, right? I think this is questions. Yeah, any other questions? That concludes my presentation.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you didn't mention this on your direct contractors list, but construction managers, project managers, and assistant project managers, and other project support. Are those things that you guys contract for? Because I'd like a shot at that.
Yeah, so they're kind of inside the general contractor.
Okay.
So the general contractor has a project manager, which usually is the guy running the budget, making sure that the schedule, everybody's kind of layered into the schedule. Then they'll have an on-site supervisor, so he's at the schedule, and he or she are coordinating, because we do have quite a few women working on that. I think we don't have women working on the physical building part. They're all in supervisory,
Well, we can do both.
Right. So but they coordinate like what subs are on that, what day, where we are in the schedule and all that.
Okay, well, if your general contractors are supporting Prince George's County-based businesses to support those projects, I've already given you my card.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk.
So we have a new project that I'm pursuing in the county right now. I'm at the very beginning of it. But we haven't purchased it yet, but we are pursuing it with very low competition, so. Yes, sir.
Looking at your list of direct services that you look for, what would you say is the best process for getting in contact? You authenticate.
You should just come over to this table. I'm going to give you my card. You can contact me directly. I'm very easy to contact. Any other questions? Yes, sir. National Capital Business Park. So it's south of 214 and 301. You can't see it from 301, but if you're down in between Prince George's Boulevard and, or and Leland, that, all that work that's going on 301 right now, that's us putting in a full intersection that will accommodate trucks. As some of you may know, trucks have been using that intersection anyway, even though there's a median there. They've been just driving over it on a limited access highway. So one of the things that the county asked us to do is put in a light. We're also putting another mile of northbound lane in as well. That's what you can see from the road. Now, if you go back into the park, into Collington, there's an entrance to our park, and there's a lot going on there. There's four tenants in there now, so operating. Yeah, you're welcome to go in. Look at it. Yeah, absolutely. And what I'll do is I'll call up, I don't know which general contractor would be that day. It's either going to be Mannequin Construction, which is affiliated to us, or it'd be Arco, which is a national company. And I'll just call them up, like Arco, I'm sure would love to host that. Yeah.
And for those that didn't hear, he was saying he has a youth program for youth interested in doing construction.
Yeah, so Arco's a national.
Give them a tour.
Yeah, those guys will come in and they'll take you all around the site, give as much time as you want. Again, I'll just call them and say, hey, we got a youth program come through, you guys gonna show up. They'll give out bottles of water and maybe food trucks, who knows what will happen everyone on that day. I was trying to get my own grandkids down and ride around with the equipment, but my daughter wasn't taking it, so my one grandson was like, please, can I do this? But it never happened. Anybody else? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, John. John Graham from Mannequin, they're very generous with their time. They always come and contribute to our procurement opportunities here at Prince George's Economic Development Corporation, Mannequin, as well as Hensel Phelps. So thank you so much, John, for your time. Next, we will have on our agenda the Maryland Department of General Services. And we have Yasin, and he'll introduce himself.
Good morning. Well, good morning, yes. Good morning. My name is Yasin Mohammed. Oh, yes. Good morning, and welcome to today's presentation. Today's presentation aims to help increase your understanding of Maryland contracting and how the state purchases goods and services. My name is Yasin Mohammed. I'm Director of Strategic Sourcing at the Maryland Department of General Services. The Office of State Procurement is the primary procurement unit for most goods and services that the state purchases. It was established in 2019 to centralize procurements across our 70+ executive agencies. We continue to enhance, improve, and streamline our procurement processes to attract more participation and expand our opportunities for small business, including minority and veteran-owned businesses. So the office is led by our Chief Procurement Officer, Wallace Sermons, our Deputy Chief Procurement Officer, Linda Dangerfield, and again, I said I'm Yasin Mohammed, Director of Statewide Strategic Sourcing. Okay, so I guess you all are here today because you have some interest in government contracting, I suppose. And more specifically, I guess the majority of you, if not all, wouldn't mind getting on a government contract. Because we are doing this, excuse me. All right, so before I jump into any planning for future opportunities, I want to take a quick step and provide some clarification about what government contracting is. It is important to understand that all government contracting is not the same. There is the federal government that offers significant contracting opportunities in and around Maryland. in and around Maryland and throughout the county and the world. Then there is state government, specifically for the state of Maryland, which consists of the various departments and offices for state operations. Within the state of Maryland, there are 24 county jurisdictions that operate independent of state government. And there are an additional 157, am I blocking it? It's and there are additional 157 incorporated municipalities within various counties that operate as separate government entities. When I say state government, what I'm really referring to is the collection of departments and offices that make up state government. More specifically, those of the executive branch. Okay. So who decides what the state buys? The state in itself does not buy anything. It is the organizations within state government that make these decisions. And how do they decide? Okay, so you'll recall that the Department of General Services is a control agency for procuring a variety of products and services. This authority or delegation is the responsibility of the state, of the Office of State Procurement within DGS. So just like the Office of Facilities Design, Construction, and Energy manage construction projects for other state agencies, the Office of State Procurement manages the procurement process for our state agencies. Your direct contact may not be someone in DGS OSP, but you may be working with a specific state agency. The procurement officer named in the solicitation would be your best contact for that solicitation. So there are factors to consider, right? Am I showing it there, right? Listening. Okay. So there's factors to consider here. Organizations need to purchase services to fulfill their mission, and the needs differ depending on the organization. And then we have the key players. There are both internal and external stakeholders. We know who are the buyers, who are the businesses operating in this space. These are all things to consider when making decisions on what to purchase. In summary, the state is not a single entity. It is in fact departments, offices, agencies that have individual needs for goods and services. The buying organization must have a need for the good or service, and organizations only purchase what's needed to fulfill their mission. So your goal is to identify the key players. Some of the things that some of the relationships that we have are usually with the prime contractor, in terms of the prime contractor is the one who actually has a relationship with the state. They respond to requests from the state organization, and they follow state regulations for procurement and contracting. The subcontractor now, they have a relationship with the prime contractor. They build relationships with them, and they respond to requests from the prime contractors, and they follow the prime contractor rules for processes. One thing that we have to consider, the state does have socioeconomic preference programs. One of them is the MBE program, which is the Minority Business Enterprise Program. And then we have also the Small Business Reserve, which is for small businesses. We also have a veteran-owned small business enterprise. Now, the MBE and the VSBE, as it's called for the veteran, they have subcontracting opportunities. So anything in the state contract that has a goal, for example, an MBE goal or a VSBE goal, those are the ones that actually have subcontracting opportunities. And then we have something called Small Business Reserve, where this contract would be only reserved for small businesses that have that designation. So the MBE and VSBE programs, they are intended to increase opportunities for Maryland State Certified minority-owned and veteran-owned small businesses, or businesses, to participate in state contracts. And as I stated before, subcontracting goals are placed on contracts, and then the prime contractor is required to utilize to utilize certified firms by MDOT to satisfy the established goal. These are some of the numbers from our FY24 program performance. As you can see, we increased the number of VSBEs by 41% in terms of how many we had certified. There were $23 million in payments to VSBE firms, and we achieved a 2% goal achievement. And that was with 104 vendors participating in that particular program. There were $124 million awarded. For the Small Business Reserve, we had a 29% increase in certified SBR vendors, $483 million in payments, and a 10% achievement of contracts. That's the 2,400 vendors participating. And I'll just note that the VSBE goal right now is actually 3%. The SBR goal is 16%, and the MBE goal is 29%. So we also had an increase in 5% of MBE vendors, $1.6 billion in payments. That's a 22% goal achievement across all our contracts, and that is across 1,724 vendors in that program. We also had $2.2 billion in actual awards. So if you see the difference between the awards and the payments, sometimes you're awarded a contract, but that doesn't necessarily, guarantee work. So we actually go by the payments, not necessarily the awards. So I guess you're wondering, where do you find opportunities for the state? Well, all state agencies have to post their opportunities in EMA. And EMA is the government's e-procurement portal where they have to post all their solicitations, and there are requirements for that. So for example, if you see here, when you go to the EMA page, if you have any questions or anything you can always go down there, and there's a list of what we call QRGs. That's a quick resource guide, and those are intended to give you some of the details of how the system works, so on and so forth. There's also an email that you can contact there in case you have any issues. So let's take a look at the type of opportunities that you'll see in EMA, right? You'll see opportunities for all sorts of services, goods, products, IT. It's the whole gamut of things that we purchase. And as I stated, EMA is the state of Maryland's internet-based e-procurement tool. And that's, the reason why we put everything on there is to be transparent, obviously, right? Everything is on there. Anything over the category 3 small procurement, the small procurements have different categories. So anything up to 5,000 can be purchased via a P card, and that's a very simple procedure. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of rules behind that. Then we have a category 2, which goes from 5,000 to 15,000. That has a little more requirements in terms of you got to get a quote from 2 vendors, and it has to be a written quote actually. And then you move on to category 3. So anything from 15,000 up to 100,000 actually has to be posted on EMA. And that has to be a written solicitation, obviously, and the procurement determination is best value. So it's not always low price, but it's best value. So you can go on EMA, and as you see here, you don't have to have an account actually to see some of these solicitations. You do have to not have an account to bid on them, but you can view them without having an account. And let's see here, and I just talked about these posting requirements. So, basically this is the same, but what I just spoke about, the solicitation requirements here. And also, not only solicitation requirements, but in EMA, we're required to post any contract award over $50,000. So it's a good tool to go in there and use to see what's been awarded by the state, what type of awards have happened by the state, and it's really a good resource to use for your research. Like I stated before, there's some resources there that you can use to get acquainted with the program or with the system. and there's a lot of resources there that you can use. So, now, there's another tool that is really important, and this is managed by the Office of Small Minority Business Affairs. It used to be called OSBA, it's now called OSBA. But when you go to their website, they have something called a procurement tool, a procurement forecast tool. And as you see here, when you go to that procurement forecast tool, you can search by either the agency, the procurement categories, the value, the region even, and the projected advertisement dates. You can take all of that, do your filters and make sure to export that information to Excel. And then you have a list of, different procurements, and there's information on there as far as the procurement officer and the agency and who you should contact in case you're interested. So this is really a good tool to use when you're planning or researching your opportunities.
What did you say that was again?
So this is the website is OSBA. So the new website is let's see here. It's can you see it up there? It's GoMarylandSmallBiz.Maryland.gov. So GoMD.SmallBiz.Maryland.gov. And when you go there, there is you can see it right there in the top right corner. It says forecast, and that'll lead you here. And like I said, from there you could search and do your filtering for what you're looking for specifically. So we currently have, and this is outdated right now, so I do apologize about that. This was sort of a last minute presentation. So these may be outdated. I do currently have on the street, there's an IT procurement for network services. It is a statewide network services procurement. It's a goal of, the entire contract has 4 functional areas. Functional area 1 is for statewide managed services, and that is a 20% goal. So that contract has to have 20% MBE goal, or that functional area. Functional area 2 and 3 are, there's various functional areas, but the point is that they all have MBE goals on them. And particularly, actually,